Hey dear ladies, today we're going to talk about something that's real, raw, and absolutely essential in any romantic relationship: sex. But not just any sex. We're talking about the kind of sex that makes a man obsess over you, the kind that he can't stop thinking about, the kind that makes him look at you differently in the days, weeks, even months after it happens, where everything about you, your smile, your scent, your energy just lingers in his mind. Now listen, before we dive in, I want to say something important. This video isn't about trying to perform for a man. This isn't about pleasing someone at the expense of your own pleasure. This is about understanding what really makes sex unforgettable for men, so that you can enjoy deeper connection, better chemistry, and more intimacy in your love life. Because when you understand what turns a man on, not just physically, but emotionally and psychologically, you gain a kind of power that most people never even think to tap into. So here's what I want you to do. If you've ever wondered what men actually crave behind closed doors, hit that like button right now. Subscribe if you're ready to level up every part of your dating life, from emotional connection to explosive chemistry. And drop a comment at the end of the video to tell me which of the 5 secrets resonated with you the most, because I always read them. All right, are you ready? Let's talk about what men consider great sex and the 5 sex secrets they crave but don't always know how to ask for. Let's get into it. Most women think that men are visually wired creatures, which is true to a point, but they completely overlook something far more powerful when it comes to unforgettable sex: mental seduction. If you want to create a sexual experience that lingers in a man's mind long after it's over, you have to understand this truth. Sex doesn't start when you're in bed. It starts long before that. It starts in the way you walk into the room. It starts in the way you look at him when he's talking. It starts in that delicious, slow-burning anticipation that builds up in the ordinary moments. You know what turns a man on more than just a great outfit or a sensual touch? It's when he starts to feel like he's caught in your web, like he's being played with, but in the best way. When a man feels like you're teasing him mentally, when you're planting little ideas in his head with your words, your tone, your subtle expressions, that's when he becomes obsessed. That's when he can't concentrate at work. That's when a simple message from you becomes a distraction he welcomes. Let's say you're out to dinner. You're dressed in something that makes you feel amazing. Not for him, but for you. You lean in slightly when you talk, but pull back just enough to keep him chasing. You touch his hand for a second longer than necessary. Maybe you say something bold like "you're trouble," and then smirk like you know something he doesn't. That little interaction, those micro moments, are what he's going to play over in his mind hours later. That's where great sex begins. The best seduction doesn't scream, it whispers. And whispers are more powerful because they make people lean in. That's what mental seduction is. It's the whisper before the scream, the space between touches, the things unsaid that are dripping with meaning. Think about this. Men, just like women, want to feel wanted, but not in a desperate, needy way. They want to feel chosen. They want to feel like you are just as attracted to them as they are to you, and that your desire is specific to them. There's something incredibly erotic for a man when he feels like you're turned on, not just because you're in the mood, but because he turns you on. When you make him feel like he's that one guy you couldn't resist, like he brings out a side of you that no one else gets to see, that's mental seduction at its peak. And here's something most people overlook. Men love to be teased, not in a cruel way, but in a playful, confident, flirtatious way. That text that says, "I had a dream about you last night, I'll tell you about it later." That's power. That's a setup. That's letting him spiral into imagination all day long. You've just planted a seed in his mind that will grow until the next time he sees you. That's the kind of foreplay that begins before you even take off your clothes. A lot of women feel like they need to save the sexy stuff for sex. But I'll let you in on a little secret. If you wait until the bedroom to be sexy, you've already missed half the fun. The mental buildup is what creates tension, and tension is the lifeblood of unforgettable intimacy. It's the difference between fast food and a slow-cooked gourmet meal. One satisfies a need, the other creates an experience. And don't underestimate the power of withholding a little bit. I'm not talking about manipulation, I'm talking about pacing. Men are used to getting instant gratification, but when a woman slows it down, when she builds the moment, when she says, not yet, with a glint in her eye, it drives him wild. That kind of restraint doesn't shut the moment down, it heightens it. It creates a sense of desire that's so much deeper than just wanting sex. He starts to want you, your attention, your energy, your approval, your touch. When you flirt with his mind, you make the physical connection mean something. And what happens when a man is turned on mentally is this. Every kiss feels deeper, every touch more electric, every glance more loaded. You move from just having sex to creating an experience that he doesn't just enjoy but remembers over and over again. So the next time you're wondering how to blow his mind, don't think about what to do in bed. Think about what you can say, how you can move, how you can look at him in a way that makes his heart beat faster long before you ever lay a hand on him. That's the art of mental seduction. And that, my friend, is the first step in giving him the kind of sex that keeps him coming back. Not just for your body, but for the beautiful, irresistible mind behind it. Secret to confidence is the real lingerie. When we think about what turns men on, the first thing that comes to mind is often the visuals. Lingerie, high heels, perfect lighting, a red lip, and sure, all of that can be sexy. But let's get real for a second. Those things don't guarantee anything. Because the truth is, a woman can be in the sexiest outfit on the planet and still not feel sex. He feels it. The energy shifts. You want to know what the real lingerie is? It's confidence. Confidence is the thing that makes someone radiate sexuality, regardless of what they're wearing or not wearing. It's the way you carry yourself, the way you move like you're comfortable in your own skin, the way you look him in the eye without shrinking back, the way you speak your desires without apologizing for them. And look, I get it. Confidence is easier said than done. We all have insecurities. We all have those moments where we feel a little off, or we're in our heads, or we're thinking about the parts of our body we don't love. But the thing is, true confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from owning who you are as you are in the moment. Let me tell you something powerful. Men are not turned on by perfection. They're turned on by presence. When a woman is in the moment, not overthinking, not trying to impress, not performing, but just being with him fully, that's what lights a man up from the inside out. You know what drives men wild? A woman who owns her pleasure, a woman who wants to enjoy herself, not just put on a show. Because when you're genuinely turned on, when you're moaning because you're lost in it, when you're arching your back because you're feeling it, not faking it, that's real, that's raw, that's unforgettable. Men are wired to respond to your response. They want to know they're turning you on. They want to feel like they are the reason for that smile, that gasp, that shake in your voice. When you hold back, when you mute yourself, when you overthink everything, you create a wall between you and the very thing he craves most, connection. So what does confidence look like in the bedroom? It looks like initiating. It looks like saying, I want you. It looks like undressing yourself because you know he's lucky to see you. It looks like taking control sometimes, not because you have to, but because you want to. And confidence doesn't always have to be loud or dominant. It can be slow, soft, and sensual. It's the difference between asking, do you like this, out of fear, and whispering, you like that, because you know you've got him. It's energy, it's intention. Here's a little secret. Men notice everything. Not just how you look, but how you carry yourself. When you walk into the room with certainty, when you sit on the edge of the bed and just look at him for a second with that little smile that says, I know what I'm doing to you, that's power. That's the stuff that makes his breath catch in his throat. And the most beautiful part, confidence is something you build. It's not a personality trait, it's a muscle. You build it by showing up for yourself, by learning what you like, by getting more in touch with your body, your desires, your voice. The more you explore your pleasure, the more comfortable you become expressing it. And that comfort, that openness, it translates into magnetism. Think about this. Have you ever been around someone who wasn't the most conventionally attractive person in the room, but they had this vibe that pulled people in? That's confidence. That's someone who knows who they are, owns their presence, and isn't afraid to take up space. That's the energy that makes people say, there's just something about her. So next time you're with someone intimately, don't focus on how you look, focus on how you feel. Let go of performance, step into pleasure. Don't wait for him to make the first move, make it yours. Don't second guess your body, celebrate it. Because when you stop trying to be sexy and start feeling sexy, you unlock a version of yourself that is utterly irresistible. Confidence is the spark that turns good sex into great sex. It's what makes the moment unforgettable. And it's the thing that will have him lying awake later, thinking about you, not just what you did, but the energy you brought into the room. Confidence is the real lingerie and it never comes off. Secret 3. Variety isn't a dirty word. Let's get one thing straight. Consistency is great for your morning routine, not for your sex life. Now, I say this with all the love in the world because so many people fall into this trap. You find something that works, he likes it, you like it, and before you know it, it becomes your default setting. Same moves, same positions, same time, same rhythm. It becomes less like making love and more like following a to-do list. And here's the thing, you can still have affection, still have intimacy, still even have fun, but over time the spark dims. The edge goes dull, and eventually it starts to feel like you're pressing repeat on an old playlist. And what do we know about old playlists? Even your favorite song can get boring when you hear it the same way every time. So here's the truth. Men crave variety. Not because they want different partners, but because they want different experiences with you. Now, I already know what you might be thinking. Do I have to become some kind of acrobat or read the entire Kama Sutra to keep things interesting? Absolutely not. This isn't about putting pressure on yourself to reinvent the wheel every time. It's not about shock value. It's about spontaneity. It's about bringing in just enough unpredictability to keep him mentally engaged and physically excited. You see, for a man, part of what makes sex magnetic is the unknown, the what's she gonna do next, that sense of playful danger, surprise, exploration. And variety doesn't always mean something dramatic. Sometimes it's just the shift in energy. One night it's slow and sensual. The next is rough and urgent. Sometimes it's in the bedroom with candles lit. Sometimes it's on the couch in the middle of the afternoon because you just couldn't wait. It's the change in rhythm, the element of surprise that keeps a man not only physically turned on, but mentally invested. Because when he knows that being with you is never boring, that every time might feel a little different, a little dangerous, a little wild, he doesn't just want you, he starts fantasizing about what's next. And variety doesn't always have to be about the act itself. Sometimes it's about the initiation, when you're the one who grabs him and kisses him against the wall, when you lean in and whisper something filthy in his ear in public, when you send him a text midday that says, just thought about what I'm going to do to you later. Don't make any plans tonight. It's the psychological jolt that matters, that feeling of being caught off guard, in the best way. Think of it like seasoning. You can have the same dish over and over, but if you season it differently, if you plate it with care, if you bring new flavor to it, it feels like something fresh. Same person, same connection, but new experience. That's what men want. That's what keeps it alive. And here's something powerful. When you have variety, when you explore your different sides, your playful side, your dominant side, your soft, sensual side, it keeps you excited too. Because this isn't just about him. This is about giving yourself permission to evolve sexually, to grow, to try things you've never tried, to discover new things about your body, your desires, your voice, when you feel like you can express all of yourself with someone, your silly side, your naughty side, your deeply emotional side. That's when sex goes from just good to soul shaking. Let's also acknowledge something that nobody likes to say out loud. We all craved a little danger, a little novelty, a little mystery. But most people don't realize you don't have to go outside your relationship to find it. You just have to be willing to unlock new doors within it. Role play. power dynamics, different settings, new toys, different times of day, light bondage, or maybe something as simple as having sex with your clothes halfway on, or not even making it to the bed. These little changes don't just spice things up, they signal something deeper, that your desire is alive, that you still see him in new ways, that you're still curious, and curiosity is the ultimate aphrodisiac. So don't be afraid to shake things up. Don't fall into the trap of thinking there's a right way to have sex, or that you need to stick to what's familiar. Growth happens in experiment, and the more you play, the more you explore, the more you step into your sexual power, the more intoxicating you become. Because variety isn't a dirty word, it's your secret weapon. And when you embrace it, you don't just satisfy him, you surprise him, you stimulate him, you capture him again and again and again. The secret for emotional safety is equal to wild freedom. Let's flip the script for a second. When people think of great sex, they often picture something physical, passion, heat, wild energy. But here's what most people miss. The sex that really blows your mind, the kind that sticks with you, doesn't start with the body. It starts with emotional safety. I know safety doesn't sound sexy, but stay with me. Emotional safety is what allows someone to show up as their fullest, boldest, most uninhibited self. When a man feels safe with you, when he knows he won't be judged, laughed at, or shut down, that's when he truly lets go. A lot of guys carry shame around what they want in bed. They don't always voice it. They've learned to filter, to hold back. But when you create an environment where he feels seen, heard, and accepted, something shifts. He doesn't just show up physically, he becomes emotionally invested. And when a man is emotionally invested in you during sex, everything changes. He's more present, more giving, more alive in the moment. He's not just there for release, he's there for connection. And this goes both ways, because when you feel emotionally safe, when you know you're not being judged, when you know you can say what you want, make a sound, cry, laugh, moan, speak up, be real, that's when you unlock the most powerful version of yourself, the sexy version, the bold version, the version that doesn't second guess. That version, she's unforgettable. Emotional safety means you can say, I like this, but I'm not into that. It means you can tell him a fantasy without fear. It means you can be vulnerable, and that vulnerability becomes insanely magnetic, because now it's not just about sex, it's about truth. Let's say he opens up about a fantasy, maybe something he's never told anyone. How you respond in that moment matters more than you think. If you make a face, he might shut down, but if you respond with curiosity, even if it's not your thing, you build trust. And trust in the bedroom, that's where the wildness lives. Because the safer you both feel, the more risks you take, the more you explore, the more adventurous, tender, dominant, submissive, loud, or playful you become. Whatever version of you is waiting to be seen. Safety doesn't limit you, it liberates you. So if you want to create unforgettable sexual chemistry, start here. Make emotional safety a priority. Create space for honesty. Encourage curiosity. Respect boundaries. Speak your truth and let him speak his. Because when there's no shame, no pressure, no masks, that's when you both get free. And that freedom, that's where the real fire begins. Secret 5. Aftercare is the new foreplay. Here's a little known truth. The best sex doesn't end when it's over. And this is where so many people get it wrong. They focus so much on the build-up, on the chemistry, on the climax, but they forget that what happens after is just as important as everything that came before. This is what I call the unsung hero of great sex, aftercare. Now, I know, sounds clinical, maybe even a little mechanical, but let me reframe it for you. Aftercare is emotional foreplay in reverse. It's what tells the other person, hey, that wasn't just about the moment, that was about you. Because here's what a lot of men won't say out loud, but they deeply feel. After sex, they're vulnerable. It might not always show, but there's a subtle shift. The adrenaline drops, the walls come down, and the question in the air becomes, was that just physical? Or did it mean something? And that's where aftercare speaks louder than anything else. It's the way you hold each other. It's the small smile. It's the whispered, "That was amazing." It's the laugh you share when your hair's a mess and the bed's a disaster. It's the little human moments that say, "I still see you, I still feel you, we're still connected." For men, those moments matter more than they'll ever admit. When a woman stays close after sex, not out of obligation, but because she wants to, it reassures him that she was there with her heart, not just her body. It creates a deeper bond, one he'll crave again and again. And let's flip it. Aftercare is also about you, about knowing that your emotional needs matter after sex, that you're not just here to be the giver, the performer, the fantasy, but the one who receives love, attention and presence even after the lights go dim. Too often we focus on how to get him to want us, but what truly keeps a man hooked emotionally and physically is when he feels like he's not just sleeping with you, he's connecting with you. And nothing says that more clearly than the energy you carry after. So don't rush it. Don't get up and move on like it was just another task. Stay, soften, touch, talk, laugh, look him in the eye, maybe even ask, "How did that feel for you?" Those little things, they're intimate, they're grounding. They make the experience linger long after it's over. Because in the end, great sex isn't just about what happens in the heat of the moment. It's about how you care for each other once the fire cools. It's about whether he feels seen, valued, wanted after. And when you master that, you don't just become unforgettable in the bedroom, you become unforgettable everywhere. And here's the thing, ladies. When you understand what really turns men on, it's not about tricks or games. It's not about playing some role or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about tapping into the real, raw, magnetic energy that you already possess. It's about owning your confidence, embracing your desires, and giving him the space to feel safe and free. It's about variety, surprise, and creating a connection that isn't just physical but emotional too. And most importantly, it's about nurturing that bond long after the heat of the moment fades away. When you create a space where you both feel alive, where you both feel seen, where you both feel safe, you unlock something deeper than sex. You unlock intimacy, you unlock trust, you unlock unforgettable moments that will have him thinking about you long after you're apart. So take these secrets, start applying them, take control of your own pleasure, own your confidence, and don't just settle for good sex. Go for great sex, the kind of sex that leaves him craving more of you, not just physically, but emotionally. Because when you step into your power like this, you stop being a one-time wonder and become someone who is truly unforgettable. If this resonated with you, if you're ready to step into this new version of yourself, subscribe to my channel and join the conversation. Let's keep talking, growing, and unlocking our full potential together, because you deserve nothing less than the best. Thank you for being here, for showing up, and for being open to change. I'll see you in the next video.